Morning, y'all. Y'all look so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Hey Taylor, how's it going?
Oh,
Good. Thanks. Yeah, let's jump straight into it. So first of all, Leah, it's not very often that we get an LGBTQ-centered movie with a lead that is a person of color. What's it like to be a part of this new wave of representation that's happening, especially on Netflix when the audience is so, you have a big YA audience?
Dear Aster Flores, I'm in love with you.
these hallways were murder.
I'm Ellie June.
Yeah, I know. You want a letter about love? I'll write you a letter about love.
What do you like about Aster?
She's pretty and smart. What else could I like about her?
I don't know. How her eyes look right into yours. How you can live in an ocean of her thoughts and she really knows.
I'm so stupid.
I just meant.
You like Aster?
To be able to play an Asian American LGBTQ character, it really felt like we were hitting two enormous birds with one tiny stone. And it was the coolest thing ever. These stories are not told, and they need to be told. There are real people out there struggling through these feelings, and there are real people out there who are Asian American, who are the center of their lives. It was a huge privilege to be able to depict something like this because, growing up, I didn't have many films that I could really look at to speaking specifically on Asian American characters. I didn't really have that as much. And now the fact that we are putting out a movie like this, it's really beautiful to watch. And it feels like even my own story is being told a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, maybe because I don't live in the industry, I didn't realize I was going to be part of a wave of representation. I was just, I mean, especially if you see my first movie, I don't know that what I do is really all that different or has changed that much. I'm queer, I'm a person of color, and I think I don't know if it's even by design, but I think that I do naturally have commercial instincts. And I think I have a tendency to come up with stories that have kind of a commercial hook to them. But then I like to show characters that you don't usually see on screen. And they tend to be the characters that I know in my life, right? And now with both movies, the thing I've discovered, which is really exciting, is that I think the more specific you are, it's always surprising to me how many different people from really different socioeconomic backgrounds feel like, oh, they relate, this is their story. It's just really heartening because it makes me feel a little bit more like, well, maybe we are all more connected than we thought.
Daniel, so I grew to love Paul so much. And Alice Wu has kind of said like the theme of the movie is like we shouldn't be spending all of our time trying to find our other half. We should be looking for people who help us expand as a person. And I think your character kind of proved that the most. Can you talk about Paul's journey with kind of just like finding solace in people?
Definitely, I think that's been a huge thing for me personally as well. Has been this, but like very much in tune with Paul in this discovery of trying to find people that make me better. I think from a young age, I've developed in different ways, and I've discovered things about myself that I don't always like if I'm selfish or greedy or whatever. And so it's been trying to find friends and family that support me in loving ways to become the best version of myself along the way. And just as Paul has Ellie to do for him, because I think at home it's a very busy family, very loud family, and so sometimes he kind of gets just doesn't find himself in that. And to have somebody specific that's just so honest and true and caring to him is just so important, and something that I've been so thankful for to have in my own life as well.
There's some really inspiring moments about making bold strokes in our lives, not being afraid to make moves that can make your painting or life beautiful. What advice would you give to young queer people who might be afraid to make those strokes?
Oh, wow. I guess the thought that comes to mind is it's okay to be afraid. I mean, especially if you're young. I mean, listen, I just turned 50 a few days ago. And I still get afraid of stuff, but I think that's good. Like, I literally think that place of fear and discomfort is sort of where the most interesting stuff lives, right? So it can often feel a little bit like there's going to be a moment where I figure out how to make the bold, choice. And then my life is fantastic and nothing scary happens again. And I can assure people that is not true. I've made that bold choice a few times and always been glad of doing it. And it's a cycle. you know? And so I guess what I would say is that, like, as long as you're thinking about it, like that's, you know, like then it must matter to you. And to sort of trust on some level that if you just keep trying to understand what you most want, that like trust that the time will come and that like that all those things you're feeling are okay. Like none of it means that it won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm feeling inspired. Alexis, so Aster has some really inspiring moments with Ellie's character about making like bold strokes in our lives, not being afraid to make moves that can make your painting or life beautiful. Um, I guess what was that journey like for you to play? And also like if you have any advice for like young people that are kind of struggling to make those bold strokes, I guess.
You know, it is a struggle for Aster a little bit. You know, she is in such a comfortable place in her life. You know, she's got kind of the perfect boyfriend. She's got a really great family that loves her a lot. You know, but the struggles with living in this small conservative town and kind of, you know, trying to leap into a whole other boat is a lot for her to take in, which I think it would be a lot for kind of anybody to take in. And I think what's really great and really cool about Aster is, you know, she tries to take everybody's feelings into consideration. I think she loves Trig, but you know, in meeting Paul, she's really learning a lot about herself. And I guess my advice would just be, you know, try to be as authentic to yourself as you possibly can, and really just kind of dig deep, see what makes you happiest and what makes you feel these emotions you've never felt before, and lead with your heart.
Mhm. Yes. The three lead characters get tangled up in a very queer love triangle, but none of them explicitly identify with the label, which I thought was interesting. They just kind of get to like exist and follow their hearts. Was that a conscious choice that y'all made?
Well, I didn't, it's not like I made a conscious choice. It just didn't really seem correct or just didn't seem authentic to that. It's not like this is a school that has a queer, you know, alliance or something. So it's not, I don't think there was like it, or there was no like anti-gay like protesters somewhere. Like I think this is a town where that hasn't, that's like, that's not a thing that happens in this small town. Like no one's thinking about it, right? And I think it's also true or authentic to my experience. Like I didn't come out to myself till I was a senior in college. And it was one of those things that it was painfully obvious when I came out to myself that I'd had crushes on girls probably since the third or fourth grade. But it's not like I sat around between fourth grade and my senior year of college wrestling with my like sexual, being like, am I queer or am I not? I literally was so repressed about it that I just like would harbor a crush, but hide it away. Right. And I think that's not uncommon for people. I don't think it's like an intellectual exercise of, am I this label or am I not? I think most of us come to it out of because there's someone we have a huge crush on. Oh, wait, no, there's another person. And it's the moment we decide to admit it to ourselves. And then, in my experience, and I think for the characters in this movie, they're also in a community and in families where it would not be easy. It's not like a common topic where, you know, someone brings up like it doesn't get brought up at any point. So I don't know that certainly for these characters it would have made sense for someone to have said, you know, I think I identify as queer. You know, in fact, I actually made a very specific point of when there's a moment where one character types in and is like, you know, how do you know if you're gay? And I specifically had that character write, how do you know if you're a gay? Which is actually the way I've heard, you know, like to just show like it's that insular of a community, but I also think reflective of parts of the country.
So we didn't get this like kind of stereotypical rom-com happy ending. But I think the ending is pretty happy. But I want to see if y'all had any thoughts on how people are going to react to that, which is kind of vague, but yeah.
It's a happy ending.
It's such a
Find ourselves. I mean, what is happier and what is better than finding yourself and loving who you find, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly.
And also too, not only finding yourself, finding friendship. That is so happy. And finding your place in your family. We see all these characters go through misplacement in their family. And the fact that all of them walk away with a sense of those things as well I feel like that's huge happiness. That's a big happy ending.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with both of them on that point.
Well, thanks so much for talking to me, y'all. I really appreciate it. Have a beautiful day. And I love the movie.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Stay.
Thanks.